What is up, everybody? I think it is time for a little yap session. Today, the topic I want to discuss is AI and the AIification, AI slopification of everything. So, as a creative, AI is incredibly useful. It has practical uses for copywriting, for description making, captioning. It has practical uses in speeding up research purposes. Um, in the creative field, it can help you with inspiration or with refining texts to create kind of exampled prompts or example DM messages that you could send businesses. And so it has a lot of really good uses, but at the same time, the AI slopification of the creative world has really, really, really kind of shown how cheap or how uncreative or how boring people are. Um, with media in general, authenticity has become even more important, and you see this in the Apple. They had their kind of presentation, and they had ads, and all those ads were practical effects. They didn't use any AI, and they made it clear that they did not use any AI, and that kind of gives them credence of authenticity. But then you see other companies like Coca-Cola who made the Super Bowl ad all AI, or McDonald's, who made another ad all AI, or all these other businesses, Klarna using AI, all these businesses using AI to cut corners. Oh, they used 10,000 prompts to create this AI, and it took them a year, or to create this commercial, and it took them a year and 10,000 prompts, or 10,000 prompts. Like, that's not a flex. That's incredibly boring, incredibly cheap, so dumb. And you see it, just it's disheartening because it steals the way that they train these companies, or they train these models, is they just steal information and they don't care. And even using Premiere Pro, like, they steal your information. They steal It's part of the terms and conditions. They can use your footage, they can use everything that you've made to generate their AI, to use for their AI. So all these companies are benefiting off of us, and it's they're ripping us off. They're stealing from us, and what can we do? Nothing, because they have the backing of the government. Was it on um, Kevin O'Leary is building a AI data center in like Oklahoma or something, and people do not want it. People do not, the common folk do not want this f- demonic, soulless building that's going to steal all of their jobs. Like, they don't want it, but he's going to build it anyway, and he has backing from the government to build it. So sucks for them. No citizen wants it, just him. And he went on a podcast and was talking about, oh, like, oh, if they really don't want it, they should do something about it. They should, like, vote against it. Like, they can't vote against it. This is a private company. This is you. They've clearly made it clear that they do not want it, but you're just gonna go build it anyways because screw everybody else. He wants to make his $1 billion. So it's very disheartening in this world. Um, it was fun because I went to hang out with my grandfather yesterday for the first time in like 4 months, and my entire paradigm worldview has shifted. I'm now an Orthodox Christian. My grandfather is a Protestant Christian. Um, and so the reason why I'm Orthodox is because there's a variety of reasons, but one big thing is that I kind of saw the pointlessness of life and the subjectivity of the Protestant world, and I didn't want anything to do with it because it's all subjective, it's all fake, it's all pretend, it's all performative, is what I'll say. Um, it's not authentic, and I think people try to be authentic in there, but it's just by nature of it being so subjective and so emotional, it's not. It's very performative, and you see this in influencers. There's this guy who like records himself dancing to gospel music, but it's clearly for YouTube, and it's clearly to get girls. And, oh, I'm gonna take what did he say? I was editing the video for him. It didn't work out. It didn't pan out, so I don't really care if I talk bad, or talk bad about the video. Um, he's like, "Well, I'm gonna take what's the new car that is self driving? The taxi self driving taxi system, a Waymo. I'm gonna take a Waymo to church. I feel like taking a Waymo to church. That's so performative. Like, there's no reason that you need to take a Waymo to church if you have a car. Like, it's so performative, and I think a lot of the world has now become performative because it's all inauthentic, and it's all catered towards making money and putting on a persona, because everything sucks and everybody has to put on a persona that everything's fine, but not everything is fine. And so anyways, I was having this discussion, And he was talking about, oh, we were talking about the war in Israel. He's like, oh, Israel has a right to defend itself. All these different things. I was like, okay, but are they? It's like they wouldn't attack these people if it wasn't for Muslims, and Muslims are the problem. It's like Muslims actually have more in common with Christians than Jews. Muslims revere and honor Jesus, not as God, but as a prophet. But at least they honor him. They have some sort of respect or love for him. So they don't hate Christians. And then I was like, do you think that if we were getting bombed every day for 20 years, 20 plus years, you think we wouldn't hate the people who are bombing us? Of course we'd hate the people who are bombing us. So I try to give him a new perspective. Of course, he's already 83 years old. He's not going to learn anything from me. I'm 23 years old. He doesn't really, he's set in his ways, and that's completely fine. He's lived his life, done what he has done. I just love hanging out with him and talking with him and discussions with him. But I got the sense that he was like, "Oh, are you depressed? Or like, do you hate your life? Are you gonna kill yourself?" Because I was telling him how I was giving him my perspective of the world. He was like, "Oh yeah, stocks are up." It's like, "Yeah, I lost $20,000 in stocks last week, and so I'm slightly up this week because it's up." I was like, yes, stocks are up, but it's all gonna crash because it does not. The stock market does not match reality at all. Gas price. My generation, I have like $1,000 invested in Bitcoin, and I invested when it was at $123,000. Now it's at $63,000. So my $2,000 investment is now $1,000. So I'm pissed off because of that. But anyways, like the stock market now, 9% return. Sure, I we can't invest that much money. We don't have the capital to invest. The strategy in our generation now is going to be to make as much money as you can as fast as you can, and then try to keep on multiplying it as quickly as you can, because money is losing value so quickly. Everything is getting so expensive. They're going to roll out a universal basic income in no time because AI is going to replace all these jobs. I was telling him my cousin's got a job in consulting. My other cousin probably has a job in some sort of computer science. Like they're going to be replaced because their jobs are replaceable. Their jobs are very, you can automate their jobs easier and faster, and the AI will do better and cheaper. And that's just the reality of the world that we're moving into, and it kind of just sucks. The AI can replace jobs, can replace humans, no question. And I was just watching this video, and they made a really good point: is that AI can make money without actually benefiting humans. And so now we're moving into a marketplace where AI is making all this money, but no human is being benefited except for the 1%. But no like actual worker is being benefited because the workers aren't working. They're losing jobs. There's no job openings. It's all fake. It's all the unemployment world, or the unemployment metric, workforce metric. It's all a sham. Everything's a sham. But anyways, I went on this rant with my grandfather. He's like, "Oh, are you depressed?" I was like, "No, like quite the opposite. There's a reason why I'm working so hard, trying to build things so much, or there's a reason you haven't seen me in 4 months, 5 months, is because I've just been working. I'm trying to grind things out. I'm trying to work things out. I'm trying to build something, trying to figure out how I can maneuver this world in a way that's not standard, because the standard way of maneuvering things does not work anymore. We were told that, oh, you can just get a degree, graduate, and you're set in corporate America. First of all, corporate America, you can see LinkedIn culture. I want to kill myself. If I see LinkedIn culture, I want to kill myself because it's so inauthentic, so fake, so performative. Everybody can see it. Everybody can see it. Um, and so I just told him, like, no, I'm not. I'm actually very much driven, very motivated, very passionate. But it's also hard because in the position that I'm in right now, I see people in my generation. I see how unmotivated or how emotional or how depressed or how broken they are. And I can't fault them for it because I can completely relate with them. They're lazy. They don't want to work. That sucks. But I can relate with them. Why? Because I can understand where they're coming from. They're getting paid $17 an hour, $19 an hour. That's fine. That's barely minimum wage. But the job kind of sucks. But it's the same thing over and over again. For them, it kind of sucks. They don't feel like they're valued. They don't feel like they're heard. And maybe that's part of my fault. But I'm not the most emotional person either. So it's hard for me to connect emotionally with people. And I'm definitely working on it. And that's been a big point of kind of maturity that I'm trying to develop, or skills that I'm trying to develop, is how to connect with people emotionally, how to like actually care emotionally. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with humbling yourself and humbling myself to listen, to sit down and listen, and to sit down and hear them out, to emotionally connect and to try to empathize with them. But that's something I struggle with, and that's my personality has completely shifted because I used to be that kind of person who could, but now I'm very much a productivity driven person, a working person. I need to build something now. Like I'm very driven, very ambitious now. Something has to be done now. I cannot waste time. I can't dilly dally. I can't sit and watch TV. My girlfriend loves watching TV shows. I can't sit and watch a TV show. I'm like, okay, you can sit, watch your TV show. I'm gonna work on this video. I'm gonna edit this client video. I'm gonna reach out to 50 different businesses, see if one responds. I need one response. And if they can't, I'll give them a trial and develop a relationship there through trial reels, through trial videos. They can see what I can provide and then they can finally want to invest. So it's a oh, let's appreciate Jack this. You can see how the conventional way does not work. And with AI now replacing everything, the conventional methods do not work anymore. And it's very discouraging because our generation is promised all of these golden tickets or all of this America and American dreams and all this nonsense, and it's all fake. It's all fake. It is really unfortunate. Um, but it does come with its benefits where we do live in a very globalized, electronic, media heavy world. So if you can find a way to translate that and to work on that and lean on the media, lean on the globalized, lean on the technology, find a way to make commission off of technology, find a way to develop your digital skills. Now, sure, you may have to be performative. You may have to put on a persona that you don't want to do, but you kind of have to do that at every job. The thing is who are you really around the people around you. Social media, you can be whoever you want. A big part of videography, for example, and I was explaining this to my grandfather, is LARPing. People don't know who you are. People don't care who you are. People see you in a camera with a camera and a Lamborghini. They're like, "Oh, this guy's legit. Let me invest in him. Let me buy his package. Let me invest in his course or whatever." Like it's everything is LARPing nowadays, and I completely understand why it happens. I was talking with the other gentleman. He's a trainer at a local gym that I shoot at, and he was like, "Oh, what do you think of life insurance?" I was like, "It's for sure a scam. Like for sure a scam, especially for these boomers, it's for sure a scam." But at the same time, boomers retain like 70% of the wealth of the entire world is or of all of America, it rests on boomers. So if we have to find a way to get that money out of their rigid, dead Ozempic filled hands, if we have to find a way to rip that money out, do it. Do it. Do it. They're gonna die in 10 years. What are they gonna do with $15 million when they're dead? Nothing. They're barely gonna give it to their children. They're barely gonna give it to their grandchildren. So rip it out. Sure, there's a moral dilemma that happens there, but if they're stupid enough to buy it, take it. Take advantage of it. It's like I get the moral aspect. Sure, it's kind of morally gray and ambiguous, and you're kind of taking advantage of people who don't know any better. But these people who don't know any better are not going to do anything for us. They're not going to help us. They're not going to benefit us. They're not going to try to survive. The boomer generation is like the first generation that I'm aware of that has not wanted to leave the world better for their children than the generation before it. They don't want your kids to do better. They see something I love about Tim Dillon. If you guys know Tim Dillon, he has a podcast on YouTube. He's a gay comedian. I don't believe he's gay because he does not have any kind of traits that are gay. He's hilarious though. I love him and I try to watch every video. But he absolutely rags on boomers. And it's really fun to see. But he does make that clear. Like they don't want the generation before them to be or the generation after them to be better than their generation. They see whenever they see their children doing better. They see because they want that. They wanted that. They needed that, but it didn't happen to them. They don't want their children to be better. And whenever they do see their children doing better, they're like, "Oh yeah, like oh nice, you just bought a house. Oh, it's a 2 bedroom house. Oh, what was your interest rate? Oh, your interest rate is 8%. Oh, mine's 2%. Mine's 1%. Mine's 0.5%. Oh, you should try to get that." Like they don't want you to do better. They're not gonna give their house, put it in a trust, and give it to you. They're not going to do that. They're going to sell it or they're going to clutch it. "Oh, I bought this house for $40,000 and I'm going to sell it for $400,000. I'm such a good financial person." Damn, I got passionate there. I'm so good with money. I know what I'm doing with investing, but they don't. They just bought a house when it was cheap and then now they're selling it and they will not sell it unless they get 100 times profit. They bought the house for $40,000. They're not going to sell it unless they can sell it for $500,000. $40,000 for a house. They're going to sell it for 500K, and they will not sell it for anything lower. They will not. You will see houses on the market if you look at any marketplace. You will not find any house on the market that's less than $100,000. That's okay. Everything's shitty. I was even looking at a lot because I had to go apartment hunting, and I found this apartment. This is a blessing. Super thankful for it. But there was a parking lot, and it was like 1,000 a month. There was nothing there. It's like, oh, for vendors, you can set up here if you need to rent a spot for vendors. Like, I'll park my car there and sleep. I'll go to freaking Walmart. Anyways, I don't want to rag too much on boomers, but my goodness, Lord have mercy. It is crazy that they do not want their generation to succeed. And they're the ones whose retirement is getting leveraged to pay for all this AI stuff. So they don't know that they're going to be affected too. But they're about to die. That's something my grandfather was saying was, "Oh yeah, I'm about to die anyway." So like, sucks. He's like, "I'm glad I'm not in your generation because it kind of sounds like it sucks." I'm like, "Yeah." And I asked him, "Can you understand why the generation is lazy, or why it's not hardworking, or why it kind of everyone's kind of depressed or on medication?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I completely get it." And that's the reality. So, anyways, I try to leave every video with kind of a word of advice or a positive message because videos can be kind of these videos can be kind of a rant and complaining or talking crap about something or delving more into the negative side of things. But if I can give you a positive message, that is to find loopholes, find alternative methods to do what you want to do, to succeed where you need to succeed, to find the passion that you want to do, find alternative ways to get there. Don't follow the straight path. The straight path will not guarantee you anything. All it will guarantee you is soullessness, fake corporateness, nothing you want to be a part of, nothing you want to live. That's not the way you want to live. Tell me if you see a life of a boomer, life of a millennial. Some millennials are cool. A life of a Gen Xer where you're like, I want that life. The American white picket fence dream life, it's super depressing. At least in my opinion, it's super depressing because it's so fake and it's so happy wife, happy life. I told my girlfriend, I was like, I'm not doing that. Like if you're upset, you're upset. You deal with your own emotions. You're gonna have to auto-regulate yourself. My job is not to regulate your emotions. You can come and talk to me and we can sort things out. You don't regulate my emotions, I don't regulate your emotions. You're a grown adult, I'm a grown adult. We can talk things out. We can work things out. That goes with everybody. I'm not gonna be there to regulate your emotions. And that's what the older generations are. Oh, happy wife, happy life. Oh, I'm gonna regulate myself based off how you're feeling, and then now everything determines what you're. My entire life is now based off of what you feel. No, screw that. I don't want that. Oh, she's my better half. That's so pathetic. That's so pathetic. Don't be that person. Be better. Have standards. Have boundaries. Be the person you want to be, and don't take no advice from nobody who you do not want to be like. As I said before in the last video, St. John Chrysostom said, only a fool takes advice or heeds the advice of somebody that they do not want to be like. Because why do you care of somebody's advice who you do not want to switch places with, or you respect, or you want to be like, or you would model your life after? Why would you care for their advice? My boss, I follow his advice, one, because he's in a position of authority above me, but because he's an incredible father, an incredible husband, incredibly hardworking. Like, those are traits that I want to follow. If I see somebody who's lazy, who's a bum, who's depressed, who's sad, who's lazy, I don't want their advice. I don't care what you think of me. You can hate me. You can dislike me. You can talk shit about me. I don't care. So don't take advice from nobody who you do not want to be like or model yourself or model your life after. And then find unconventional ways to succeed. Anyways, that's been the video for today. AI slop. God bless.